in the Black Hills in Deadwood. We are ready to go green. Start for Jacob Yerk off the outside. He may have the stud boy hole shot as they head to the big FXR takeoff ramp, but here comes Logan Christian and Kyle Pauline battling it out on the inside.
Logan Christian, his former teammate, right up there in the mix. We see a rider down just outside the player's turn. Looks like that's Kyle Pauline. Yeah,
Pauline getting tipped over, and we've got a brand new leader. Logan Christian comes underneath Jacob Yerk to take over the top spot. Looks like Cody Cam an early third as they go charging back down through the FXR jump into the Polaris turn, and Cam trying to jump right in there alongside Yerk in a battle for second. Looks like Oscar Norm just took the number 4 spot as Yerk takes the lead now from Logan Christian as they come over the Amsoil finish line.
Look at our top 3 here. We have Logan Christian, one of our veteran riders here. Jacob Yerk, a sophomore pro rider. Cody Cam, 15 wins to his credit. He is a former champion. Man, this is going to get interesting, which is 9 minutes to go.
You can keep track in the top left of your screen at the time remaining. Once that timer reaches 0, then we'll run an additional 2 laps here in this Amsoil Pro Final here at the U.S. Air Force Snowcross National. And Logan Christian tried to knife his way to the inside there on Yerk, but Yerk holds him off. That leaves the inside lane open for Cody Cam. He's trying to charge his way up into the second position as he hits the inside on the Polaris turn.
Jacob Yerk came out swinging this year with a podium in the opening round, and he's just had a little bit of trouble since then. But you know the speed has been there, he says. He's feeling good. So far, so good heading into Deadwood at a track that he very much enjoys.
Cody Cam, now your runner-up, taking the spot from Logan Christian. Oscar Norm now battling Logan for third. Norm sled, the back end getting happy, doing a happy dance on him as they go into the Polaris turn. He'll run that inside lane. Christian tries to cross him over and come back, but as they get through the U.S. Air Force flyaway, Norm has the advantage for the final spot on the podium for the moment. Logan stuffing it in there, coming into the corner and out the other side. So Christian working his way up, and Lincoln Lemieux from the back row has made his way into the 5th position.
Definitely on track for some redemption for Lincoln Lemieux after those tough qualifying rounds, but a guy who has been so consistent and so fast. He's been on 3 of 4 podiums, gotten 3 of 5 hole shots here, so Lincoln Lemieux always a threat.
1 year ago, here in Deadwood, Jacob Yerk had a season-ending injury. What kind of redemption would it be for him to win here tonight?
This would be absolutely storybook. You know, this would be a historical win for Jacob Yerk, and a meaningful one too. And you know, he said he doesn't want to think too much about that injury, but always, no matter what, it's always going to be in your mind to some capacity. But he's trying to put it out of his mind, just run his race this weekend.
So inside of 7 minutes to go here in this Amsoil Pro Final as we continue to watch the battle for the final podium spot. Logan Christian trying to return the favor here on Oscar Norm, tried to get alongside of him going into the Polaris turn. They'll now head through that Arctic Cat rhythm section. It is getting really rough and choppy through there and through the U.S. Air Force flyway for the moment. Norm hanging on to the number 3 spot.
Cody Cam just 1.116 seconds off of Jacob Yerk, of course, our race leader. Cody Cam, this is actually where he had his first career win back in 2013, 2014. So Cody Cam, he has had a few wins here in Deadwood over the years.
And Logan Christian taking advantage of a little bobble and then a little ski to track contact there between he and Oscar Norm. Meanwhile, Cody Cam, you've just heard Hanley mention that he was chipping away at the advantage here on Jacob Yerk. Well, now that he sees Jacob Yerk just in front of him as we're closing in here on halfway through the 10-minute portion of this Amsoil Pro Final, and Cam trying to turn up the wick here to catch a high-flying Jacob Yerk as they battle for the race lead.
Now, as we embark on the second half here, you know, we do have a few riders who have historically been more well set up for that second half of the race, that second lap run. We're going to see second half run we'll see here. So let's see who's going to put it together. Is Jake going to continue this race lead here that he's had for a number of laps? But Cody Cam keeping him honest.
different lines being utilized here as they go through the U.S. Air Force flyaway. Yerk stayed down to the inside. Cam coming from middle to the inside. Back off the ram turn. Cody ducking there as the roost was coming up at him as they head through the Skidoo rhythm section. Back over the FXR jump. And Jacob Yerk just bounds his way through that Polaris turn, jumping into the middle of the corner, then hammering on the throttle on the way out. Has just a hesitation there for a second, but Cody Cam getting lost in one of those deep holes in between the jumps there, so that kind of canceled itself out between the two, and the gap remains the same as we're inside of 5 minutes left in the time limit portion of this AMSOIL Pro Final.
Yeah, they were working hard on touching up this track just before this Pro Final. I know they were working very, very hard at these corners especially, but it doesn't take long for them to build deep holes and add character to this track with just a few minutes into this race, approaching 4 minutes and 30 seconds to go.
And the interesting thing here is we haven't seen Jacob Yerk hit much traffic yet. As I say that, he's starting to get into traffic, the back of the field, just in front of him, as you watch Cody Cam continuing to give chase. Now, maybe by the time we get down to the final 2.5 minute portion here, before the 2 to go signal, we'll finally see the leaders getting into some traffic. But this has been a benefit for Jacob Yerk to have clean the racetrack in front of him as we continue to watch the battle for third. Logan Christian has it. Oscar Norm wants it back.
He most certainly does. This is so interesting here. Watch what Logan is going to do heading on this straightaway back towards the Polaris turn. Able to distance himself just a little bit of a margin over Oscar Norum as he takes the outside line into that corner.
The Henches team would love to have 2 spots on the podium. Ideally, of course, they'd like one of them to be the top step, but Jacob Yerk continues to hold off Cody Cam as we watch the action here for third. Norm had it at one point in this race. Christian took it back, and since he took it back, he's been able to pull away just enough from Norm to keep him at bay.
Oscar Norman fourth. He has been so impressive and so strong this year. It looks like we have actually a couple riders off the pace just here in the Articat section beyond the Polaris turn. Emil Hard collected in that. He is able to refire.
Yeah, it looks like Cole Coutu was the other sled. They brought his sled down into the infield. Let's document what's been happening with Elias Ischel. Number 7 qualifier, number 7 in the running order, though he just got past Daniel Benham a lap ago. There's Benham right behind him, so Ischel in the number 6 position right now.
We are just shy of 3 minutes to go, plus 2 laps. This race is far from over. We've seen Elias come from the back row to claim a win. Let's see if he's going to be able to work his way up into a podium position. Just needs 3 more.
Oscar Norm continuing to battle it out with Logan Christian. And then behind them again is Lincoln Lemieux, and Lincoln has been riding hard but having a hard time trying to catch it. Wow, I think Logan heard Oscar come and drifted over to the left there, took the line away, but Oscar will charge off the Ram truck's turn and retake the 3rd spot.
That is some quick thinking on his toes there, Oscar Norum, able to reclaim that position for the podium.
Oh, and a little comeback attempt there from Logan Christian. Almost got his ski buried in the track of Oscar Norm's Henches Racing Polaris as they head back through the Skidoo section over the FXR double. And Coutu back underway, and Norm trying to clear him off to the inside. Coutu bail off to the side of the track here and let this battle for 3rd spot continue through. Down to about 1:45 left to go, so let's go back up front and check in with Jacob Yerk. 2.9 seconds the gap right now between himself and Cody Cam.
And one thing we did not see what happened, hoping to get an update here soon on Trent Whitwer. Appears he has pulled off the track.
Yeah, bad break for Whitwer, the number 2 qualifier coming into tonight's racing action here in Deadwood. And you can see the signal, keep it going, but use your head.
Use your head, absolutely. I was talking to Jacob Yerk earlier about lap traffic. Of course, that comes into play here in Deadwood very early on. He says, you know what, it's kind of a confidence booster, because when you find lap traffic, you're like, all right, I know I'm doing something. Whereas others may look at it as a chess game. Others may say, oh, okay, this is going to be difficult. Got to make some more passes around these riders just to be able to run my position. But Jake Yerk looking at it with optimism.
We are inside 1 minute to go before the 2 to go signal comes up here. Jacob Yerk continuing to maintain the advantage of about 2.5 seconds. Here's Elias Ischel now trying to fight for a top 5 here. He has caught up to the Sharing Speed Sports U.S. Air Force AMSOIL Skidoo of Lincoln Lemieux. Elias putting that West Coast Customs Boss Racing sled to the inside of Lincoln. Lincoln almost sketched out there at the top of the Polaris turn, and they're going bar to bar.
Pure athleticism, able to hang on to it and stay atop that Sharing Speed Sports number 13 sled.
And Ischel able to make the move here going into the ram turn. Lemieux does not have an answer coming out of that corner, so Ischel up into the top 5 as the timer is about to tick down to 0, and then when the leader comes by, it'll be 2 to go for Jacob Bjork, looking to pick up the win here in the Amsoil Pro Final. Meanwhile, Oscar Norm not settling for third on the podium as the clock hits 0. We'll have 2 to go when they come by this time, and the Henches teammates are about to throw down for second.
They definitely are. Two very, very talented riders, two very different riding styles, but man, love watching these two duke it out with just 2 laps remaining.
And here comes Oscar rolling the outside. Here he's up alongside, passes Cam in the air, and they almost make contact.
Man, very, very close. You got to do what you got to do.
Oscar Norm moving up to second here, and the final lap and a half, Cody Cam in third. Logan Christian a little distance back, so he may not be a factor in the fight for positions here, as they'll come around for the white flag coming up here in just a lap or so. And there's the 1 to go signal. Your race leader, Jacob Bjork, on his final trip around, works his way through the Skidoo rhythm section.
And your leader, they love seeing a battle back behind them if he's cognizant of what's going on back there, because of that battle between Oscar Norm and Cody Cam, and Jacob Bjork able to distance himself even a little bit more over the second place position, currently 2.396 seconds the distance over second.
And that will be the margin of victory from a career season-ending injury 1 year ago here in Deadwood to the top step of the podium in 2021. Jacob Bjork wins the Amsoil Pro Final at the U.S. Air Force Snowcross National.
Celebrating with team owner Nick Zanstra, Alexa Zanstra.